Hello, Judy from Thistledew Creations, and I'm going to do another one of these little corduroy covered notebooks, and this one is for my sister-in-law, Rose. She loves deep reds, so I'm going to do this burgundy corduroy, and I found this coordinating paper for the pockets and the center, and then I'm thinking a rose with the brown side showing, probably inked on the front with these green leaves also inked. I think that'll look really nice. So this one shouldn't take as long. These videos are getting shorter every time I do them. If you need to have more background information on how everything is done, there's 3 other videos before this one of the same sort of journal being made, so you can go back and watch those if you need more detail. I'll end up having them in my notebooks playlist, as well as likely a couple of other playlists. And on this one, I'm going to do it a little different. I seem to do it a little different on each and every one. So I'm cutting this for the center of the book and these for the tuck spots. That way I'm getting away with one 6x6 piece of paper for that. So let's do rounded corners on this. I don't think I'm going to do the fancy edging on this one because it would kind of get lost. I would lose these flowers, but what I might do is put some flat lace on the edges of it. That might make it a little prettier. I should have folded this first. I just want to fold this perfectly in half. And I could have scored it too. Might have made it a little easier to keep it going straight. I will use my bone folder to flatten it. Oh, and I didn't cut it to width yet, so I need to figure out my width, which will be the width of the papers. So I'll have to recut that. So that gives me one extra piece. Oh, by the time I've done a dozen of them, I'll have it all figured out. I think that's about all I've got to do of the corduroy ones. But it's something that I have in other types of fabric as well, so I'll probably do more of them in different types of fabrics. I'm just kind of drawn to the corduroy right now. It makes me feel cozy, and it's very cool in this house right now. It's only -2 outside Celsius. But it's so windy that this house feels so cold. Just can't get warm. So there's my spots to punch my holes. And then on the front cover of this one, I was thinking of using this really dimensional lace, just to cover that raw edge that we have, and then the leaves and the rose will go sort of like that. That's going to be very pretty. I've come to find out that you really don't need tons and tons and tons of things. Sometimes just a couple of well-placed things is all you need to make it look really pretty. You can overdo it. I mean, unless you really just like that overdone shabby chic thing, which I like it, but I just don't have that much lace to be using like that. So I think what I'm going to do here is go with the center here lined up with the edge. And that's another thing that I should have maybe done before this video, is glued this edge. In fact, I might be able to do this just with the glue stick. Try it this time. This glue his only purpose really is to seal this fabric so it will stop fraying. So I'm thinking the glue stick will do. So I'm just rubbing it along the edge there. It's going to be hidden. And that's just an easy way, quick drying way to do that. And then, like I said, I want to glue it down using this center so I can get lots of glue up the center of these flowers. And then I'll put some more, I'm going to have that sort of right on the edge. And these scallops will be hanging off the edge. I like the way that turns out. So I'm going to use the 3-in-1 again. And put a lot of glue right down the middle here. About there. It's so cool in here that my glue is stringy. And then I'll place that right on the edge, kind of centering it up there. Good. And then I've left it long so that I can do that trick where I wrap it around to the inside. And I'll glue this down. First of all, let me cut those little extra bits off. Glue this to the inside. And clamp it. And then this piece I think I need to glue down too because it's just going to hang out in midair. I don't want that. So I'll glue it down like this. Just right to that point there. So I'll need another clamp. Get that glued down. And then over on this side, same sort of thing. This one might not be as loose. But if I want it to look the same, I might have to cut it off and do the same thing. We'll see how it looks here. I might have to cut it off so that it's doing the same kind of so like that, and then this one will just go there. Hopefully you can see that. There, just give those a few minutes for that glue to set up, and then I might put more glue just underneath there. And then we'll just figure out our pages here. Well, we could do, yeah, we can do this. Get this all ready. I want to ink these edges, and I think I'm going to ink this time, and I'm going to use the Vintage Photo. I haven't done much inking on the other ones. And I don't want this really inky, but I do want to ink it. I'm going to fold this just so that that will separate a bit. Do that again. Get them lined up. When you fold it, they automatically kind of do like a cascade. So I want to ink them in their cascade form. And I think just this Vintage Photo is good. Yeah, I should have done it the other direction, because that's the way they're going to be folded, is this way. So let me try that again and ink this from this direction, because that's what we're going to see. And that way when I fold this, yeah, then you see that cascade of rippled edges with the coloring on it. This looks nice. So that's going to be about like that. And just give it a good press, a bit of a bone folder press down from both sides, just to try to train the spine, because it's a lot of pages and I don't want to do 2 signatures. So that will help the book to stay closed. The other ones I really am having a trouble keeping them closed. That'll help, because I never really burnished the other ones down. So this, I'm going to do just a light inking around the outside edge of this. And this is my center pockets, and it's also going to be the template for my poking the holes for sewing in the signature. I like the way this looks with the vintage photo ink. Getting a little closer to a junk journal look, but still, it's not going to have all the different kinds of paper that a junk journal often has. I might end up doing at least a few of them like that, like more of a junk journal. So that goes in the middle there. These will get glued down here and here and become little pockets or tuck spots. And then these ones, I'm going to do small round over on 3 sides. And then this one, I think I'm going to do a big round over on it. Just make sure I get right into that corner. So that'll go like that. And then the one in the front will be the opposite. So I'll want my leaves go in the same direction. So I want the big round over on this spot. You got to be kind of careful with this if you have directional paper, and make sure you get them going the right way. So these I'll also want inked. That one goes like that. And this one will go like that. So that can wait. This should be dry enough for us to figure out where we want to bend this. So this has to fit inside. So this has to sit about here. It can't go much further because it can't go beyond the zigzags. And then this comes over. And that's just going to cover, not even quite. Yeah, it's just going to work. I could have hung this over the edge further, but it'll be all right. I can actually stick something else up under there. Maybe another piece of fabric that coordinates, maybe even a piece of green to coordinate with the leaves, something. So let's just kind of cheat this down and maybe another 1/8 of an inch. Down here. Like that. And get this over as far as we can. And that's got cardstock in behind the fabric, so I am going to burnish it, and hopefully that will help as well. Probably would work even better if I did 2 score lines on it. but I like the way that the spine is kind of just soft. Okay, so that wants to sit there like that, and as far as I can. And this goes into the center before I forget. And then clamp, 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 clamp. And poke, poke, poke. Got this nice screwdriver style pokey tool, or awl as they call it, AWL, in a bunch of old tools from a old toolbox that we bought at a yard sale or an auction sale, I think. And this is going to be not impossible, but tough to get through everything. That's why it's good to have a nice sharp pokey tool. And then I've got some cream colored hemp cord, often used in jewelry making. I used to do a lot of jewelry. Haven't done any lately. And I didn't make enough to have charms on this time. I just did 4 times the width of the book, or the height of the book. So I'm going to pull it just to where I can clamp it so it doesn't pull through on me. So out through the center hole, and then in through either the top or the bottom hole. It does not matter which one. In this case, it's kind of the left or the right, because my intention is for these books to be used as a flip-up cover instead of a sideways book. That's the way the pages go. That's the way the writing goes on the quotes. And then when you come back in the center hole, you want to go back in the very same hole, but you want to come up on the opposite side of the string. And I always try to demonstrate this as well as I can on every video, because I think it's one of the things that especially newbies will ask about the most, is how do you do that thing where you sew them in? I know I was mesmerized by it at first. It's really not complicated, but when you first see it, you're like, oh goodness, how am I going to remember that? It's really not that hard after you've done a couple. So then I'm going to just do a little knot in the middle. This stuff is really strong. So go to the jewelry section if you want to get some hemp cord. You can usually find it in Dollarama too. I can get it at Michael's for sure. And just cut those off in this case. And I'll glue down these flaps. It might even be able to work as a tuck spot without gluing them down, but I think it'd be more secure if they were glued down. So I'm just gonna take and glue from the center up to where the shoulder of that first rounded corner is. And just glue that down. And then the same thing on this side, from the shoulder to the center. Move it down. I'll have to find some coordinating papers or cardstock to make some pretty tags to stick in here. And then you can see the spine looks nice and neat because these are equal distance. This is right in the middle and this is nice and straight. My first few didn't turn out that nice, so don't worry if yours don't, they'll get better. And then I'm going to put these pockets in. Now, because this really is meant to be used this way, maybe what I'll do is I'll put my pocket here, and it can be a tuck spot like that. or here. For a right-handed person, that might make more sense. I'm pretty sure Rose is right-handed. And then you just do 2 sides on these tuck spots, so that it's easier to get things in and out of them. And don't put it right down into the low spot in the inside here. Bring it out a little bit and just bring it. I'm bringing it the same sort of distance. You got a border around it both sides. And then, like I say, if I have a little tag or something, I can stick it in there, or a few things. And then in the back cover, since I did that one that way, maybe in the back cover I'll do this one down here. My flowers or my leaves are going 2 different directions, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about that. I try not to worry about any of those things when it comes to the paper crafting. It is what it is. How it ends up is still lovely. Even if it's something you would want to change, you can change it on the next one. Again, so just leaving a little bit of a border of the cardstock showing. That glue squeezed out right away, so I cleaned it up right away. And I think I will do the rest of this edge in Vintage Photo, just so it doesn't stick out so white. And then now my only question to myself is, do I want to put something else sticking out farther? See, if I'm going to use this somewhere, I could put some of this. I don't think it really needs it. And then I was thinking I might put it in here too. But if I put it in here, it could solve 2 things at once. No, it won't. I don't think I'm going to bother. I'm going to just do my little decorative thing that I had planned on, which was the ground espresso. I already inked this leaf, the other on the one with the feathers, to see if it was the right color green, and it was a little bit too mossy. I'm going to use it on this one because I think it'll look really good against the burgundy. And then I'm also going to ink, and I could try inking this side, but I don't think it's going to be burgundy enough. No, it's not. Well, maybe it would look pretty. By the time I get it inked and toned down a bit, it could work. Let's see. I'm going to do my trick that I did last time and just clamp this spine so it stays flat while we're working on it. And then I think I want this kind of going out onto the lace. And they're actually like oak leaves, not rose leaves, but now do I want it like that? Or do I want it like this? I think the brown, actually. I mean, if I had a prettier color or the right color of fabric for this, then this might work. But I think it's too pink and purple, whereas that looks much richer. The only thing I might want to do to it is give it a little bit of metallic. So let's get into my paint box. I don't think I have a color in my, nail polishes that will work, that's handy. I don't want it glittery, I just want a bit of a glimmer. You know what I mean? So my metallic watercolors is what I'm thinking. Do I have a good one? That's the problem. Maybe the Copper Rose. She would probably like that. And I would need just a touch of water. My hand's going, ooh, you get to paint. Where's all my water bottles? I keep taking them into the kitchen and forgetting I need them out here. Oh, I know where I've got some. Already has mica in it, actually. This little thing, it might be enough actually to do this. So let's try it. This is where I've cleaned my brushes before when I was using the watercolors. And so it's just a little bit of a glimmer of the mica. If you had mica powder, you could sprinkle it right on there. You could also paint it with nail polish. You could do embossing powder and give it a real durable finish. If you have gel nail polish with the UV light, you could do that. Anything to just give it a little bit of a metallic look. So that's pretty much a gold color. It's a mixture of all of them. But let's just let that dry for a second, and then let's go over it with a dry mixture of this coppery one. Just going to work this while that dries. Just sort of get it on the brush. And yeah, that's gonna work better. More of a dry application than the watery one. It's getting me closer to the color I had visioned in my mind. Very nice. A rose gold rose. And I could have done that right on the other side. Wouldn't have hurt anything. In fact, it might even give it a good undertone of the pink. Actually, it does. Makes it look really pretty. Yeah, that's really nice now. And so then it might be a little dull with that paint on it. We'll see. It should have a bit of a glimmer to it, but if it's a dull at all, you can go over it with just a clear coat of nail polish. I don't think I would do anything with glitter in it for this particular application. I would just keep it to something fairly just clear. And now these, I'm going to need quite a bit. I'm just kind of focusing the glue on the center. but need quite a bit of it because it's going to be absorbed into both surfaces, both the felt and the corduroy. So, I mean, I'll come back and check this in a half an hour, and I might need to take them off and completely re-glue them. But the back sides of the leaves then will be sealed with this glue. I found that on a couple of the other projects. The stuff that I thought was stuck down. I come back to it later, and it really wasn't stuck down very well. So there's those, and then this, I think I will use the side that was painted because it just has a better sheen. Although that looks pretty good. This is tricky because there's not much surface area to glue. And of course, right now it's a little wet, but I'm going to try this just so that you can see the finished product. And if I have to go back and glue it later, I will. And that I want partly on the green and partly on the lace so you can see it. Oh, I like that. So hopefully you've enjoyed watching this little series, and I hope it inspires you to get some fabric samples or just some fabric scraps from your own crafting bin and make some little booklets. They're great little gifts, great little thing to leave with a friend. I just can't wait to give this one to Rose because I know she's going to love it. This could also be a metal element, like a pendant from a necklace or something. I've got lots of stuff like that too. Maybe I need to go through some of that and put together a little bin of bling that can be used for this kind of thing. But this is fun. I really like this. And I'll have fun filling those pockets for her and giving it to her. So hope you've enjoyed watching today. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. But most of all, have a great day and happy crafting.